25-year-old Jessica Hiringa, a resident of Norton Shores, Michigan, vanished without a trace in 2013 right from her workplace. The search for her abductor stretched on for many long years, during which several more women fell victim to the hands of the criminal. It was only when law enforcement officers managed to apprehend the perpetrator that they learned the chilling details about him. Jessica was born on July 16, 1987, into a simple family and had a biological sister. At the age of 22, she became a mother to a boy whom she gave the unique name Zevin. The father was Jessica's longtime boyfriend, Dakota Quayle Danner, with whom she continued to build a relationship. In 2013, the young couple was renting a house in Norton Shores. Jessica worked as a manager at the Exxon gas station located on the shore of the picturesque Lake Michigan. Thanks to her friendliness and kindness, she often received positive feedback from customers. Striving to provide a decent life for her beloved 3-year-old son, the girl took on any job and often worked overtime. In her personal diary, Jessica wrote about her desire to grow and develop, dreaming of studying at college and pursuing a career as an accountant. However, significant funds were needed to realize these plans. Dakota could not fully provide for the young family, which often led to conflicts between him and Jessica. Despite being engaged, the couple's wedding was constantly postponed for various reasons. April 26, 2013, was no different from any other day in Jessica's life. After lunch, she stopped by a local store for groceries, dropped them off at home, and then drove her car to work. At 4:30 p.m., the girl parked near the Exxon gas station and began her evening shift, which was supposed to last until 11:30 p.m. That day, Jessica was working alone. At 11:14 p.m., a disturbing call came in to the 911 emergency line. A man reported that he had arrived at the Exxon gas station, went inside to pay for fuel with cash, but the manager was nowhere to be found. He told the operator, "I don't know what happened, but there's no one at the gas station. The doors are open, the lights are on everywhere, but I can't pay for my gas. My car and another one are in the parking lot. Why is no one here? This is very strange." Within just 10 minutes of the call, police officers arrived at the scene. They thoroughly inspected the building inside and out but found no signs of a struggle or disorder. Jessica's jacket was hanging in the back room, and her purse with $400 in cash and keys to her car and house was lying there as well. While examining the back doors of the utility room, law enforcement officers noticed a single drop of blood, which, as it would later turn out, belonged to the missing Jessica. On the floor, detectives found a cover from the laser sight of a Walther P22 pistol and 2 watch batteries. The gas station's cash register was untouched, with the money still in place. The last receipt was printed at 10:52 p.m., an unknown visitor had purchased a lighter and left. Unfortunately, there were no security cameras inside the premises. Next to the cash register lay an open pack of Jessica's cigarettes, as if the girl had just stepped away for a few minutes and was about to return at any moment. Her locked car was in the parking lot, but Jessica herself was nowhere to be seen. She had vanished without a trace. The police contacted the gas station owner and informed her that the station was open but no employees were inside. The woman immediately called another manager who lived nearby and asked her to urgently come and lock up the building. Meanwhile, law enforcement officers notified Jessica's family about her disappearance. The girl's parents called all her friends in the hope of finding out something. One of Jessica's girlfriends said that she had stopped by the gas station that evening between approximately 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., and everything was fine. Shortly after, Jessica's colleague arrived to close the station. She recalled that around 11 p.m., while riding past the gas station with her boyfriend on a motorcycle, she noticed a car with an open trunk near the back service entrance. It was a silver Chrysler Town & Country minivan. The manager assumed that Jessica might have been unloading goods for the gas station, so she decided to stop and wait to see what would happen next. Near the vehicle, she saw a young man with wavy, disheveled hair, wearing an orange hoodie. The unknown man opened and closed the minivan doors several times, then got behind the wheel and drove away. Detectives reviewed surveillance camera footage from adjacent buildings and found frames showing the silver Chrysler driving past the Exxon gas station at 11:02 p.m. Another witness named Christian, who worked at a neighboring store, came forward. He told the police that he had seen a man from the minivan talking to Jessica outside. According to Christian, it seemed as if the stranger was simply flirting with the pretty girl, asking why she was standing outside and not inside. Based on the descriptions provided by witness Christian and Jessica's colleague, a composite sketch of the suspect was created, a light-haired young man of strong build with dark wavy hair, approximately 1.82 m tall. It was published 3 days after the girl's disappearance. Although numerous calls came in to the hotline, no truly important information was obtained. The silver Chrysler Town and Country minivan is too common a vehicle in the USA, with about 15,000 registered in Michigan alone. Finding the specific vehicle among them was virtually impossible. Jessica's civil partner, Dakota Quail-Danner, also fell under suspicion. The young man admitted that he often argued with his girlfriend but never raised a hand against her. He actively cooperated with the investigation and said that on the night of Jessica's disappearance, he was at home with their 3-year-old son. Dakota emphasized that he did not have his own car and could not have reached the gas station without transportation. After checking his phone, detectives confirmed that he was indeed at home that evening and night. Despite the couple's complicated relationship, Dakota was excluded from the list of suspects. Conversations with Jessica's friends revealed that she had many admirers who would have liked to date her. Due to her friendliness and sociability, the girl often gave men the wrong impression. One of Jessica's admirers was 37-year-old married plumber Jess Moorman. He said that on the day of the girl's disappearance, around 9:30 p.m., he had driven to her gas station, declared his love, and told her he was ready to divorce his wife for her sake. But Jessica rejected him. The offended man left the building, got into his car, called his wife, and talked to her for about 50 minutes before driving home. Jess was interrogated, polygraphed, and his wife was interviewed. He was also excluded from the list of suspects. Another person of interest was Rob Fallett, the biological brother of the Exxon gas station administrator. According to him, on that day, at approximately 9 p.m., he stopped by the station, greeted Jessica, and noticed that she was upset. When asked what had happened, the girl replied that she was having family problems. Rob suggested that she move in with him, but she refused. After spending just a few minutes at the gas station, the man made a purchase and left for night fishing. After checking his phone, detectives confirmed Rob's words and also excluded him from the circle of suspects. Rescuers joined the search for Jessica. Using helicopters, dogs, and numerous groups of volunteers, they examined residential and abandoned buildings, wells, forests, and the coast of Lake Michigan, but to no avail. The investigation had reached a dead end. Almost a year later, in March 2014, an attack occurred in Michigan on a woman who strongly resembled the missing Jessica, a petite blonde wearing glasses. Late in the evening, she was returning home when a man attacked her, forcibly dragged her into a car, took her to his place, and abused her for several hours, threatening to kill her. However, the perpetrator was found quite quickly. During the arrest, he resisted and threatened the police with a toy pistol, for which he was shot dead. The attacker turned out to be 42-year-old Brad Allen Mason, who had a criminal past. In 2004, he served a sentence for kidnapping, and in 2011, he was arrested for indecent behavior. In 2014, Mason lived in a dormitory located across the street from the Exxon gas station where Jessica worked. However, detectives found no evidence of his involvement in her disappearance. 2 years after Jessica's disappearance, in 2016, another attack on a young girl occurred. Returning late in the evening from a party at her friend's place, she got lost on a dark street. Suddenly, a silver minivan stopped next to her, from which a stranger looked out and inquired if everything was all right. He offered to give the girl a ride home, but she refused, asking only to use his phone. The man agreed on the condition that she get in the car. As soon as the girl was inside, the driver locked the doors and informed her that his phone battery was dead. He then pulled out a pistol and ordered the passenger to keep quiet. Starting the engine, he drove forward. During the ride, the girl felt sick and nauseous. She begged the kidnapper to open the window. When he lowered the glass, the girl, without wasting a second, jumped out of the vehicle that was speeding at full speed and ran into the nearest building. The stranger drove away, and the victim called the police and described the perpetrator. Thanks to surveillance camera footage, law enforcement officers managed to identify the license plate of the silver Chrysler Town and Country and determine the owner's identity. It turned out to be 46-year-old Jeffrey Willis. Jeffrey was a handyman at a factory. Lonely and modest, he had never had problems with the law before. During a search of his minivan, police officers immediately discovered a Walther P22 semi-automatic pistol. Later, detectives used the weapon's serial number to establish that it belonged to Jeffrey's colleague. The woman confirmed that she had owned such a pistol, but it had been stolen long ago. She also mentioned that the weapon had been equipped with a laser sight, which was missing at the time of discovery. Jeffrey Willis was arrested. In his house, a whole chest was found with equipment for BDSM practices, handcuffs, chains, ropes, a gag, a vibrator, a video camera, and a bullet from a Walther P22 pistol. There were also insulin syringes with an unknown liquid, sleeping pills, lubricant, disposable gloves, and an anatomical diagram of a female body with marked injection points. Numerous video clips with chilling abduction scenes of young women were discovered on the suspect's computer. A hard drive with videos made by Jeffrey himself was hidden in the ventilation pipe. The footage showed the man's female neighbors swimming in a pool, unaware that they were being filmed. A folder named Victims, with 2 subfolders, was also found on the computer. One concerned the missing Jessica, the other, the murdered Rebecca. 36-year-old Rebecca Blech was killed on June 29, 2014, a year after Jessica's disappearance, just a 20-minute drive from the Exxon gas station. The woman had gone for an evening jog and never returned. Neighbors found her lying right on the road, her coat pulled up, her pants slightly lowered. At first, they thought Rebecca had been hit by a car. The woman was unconscious but still had a pulse. Eyewitnesses called an ambulance and the police, but by the time they arrived, Rebecca was no longer breathing. As it later turned out, the cause of death was 3 gunshot wounds to the back and head. Numerous bruises were found on the victim's wrists and legs. The killer was not caught at the time, but 2 years later, after Jeffrey Willis's arrest, it was established that Rebecca had been shot with the pistol found in his car. Jeffrey did not admit his guilt. The prosecution believed that he had planned to kidnap Rebecca and take her to his home, but something went wrong. The woman resisted, so Jeffrey shot her and fled. The deceased's DNA was found on one of the gloves in Willis's house. The court found him guilty of the murder of Rebecca Blech and sentenced him to life imprisonment. Already behind bars, Jeffrey was charged with the abduction of Jessica, which he categorically denied. However, on the night of the girl's disappearance, the suspect's phone recorded his presence at the Exxon gas station. After that, Jeffrey went to his late grandfather's house, which was a 13-minute drive from the gas station. When the police arrived there, the front door was locked with a huge padlock. After breaking it, law enforcement officers entered inside. In the basement, they found many bottles with cleaning agents, powders, and bleach. They had a manufacturing date of early 2013. Jeffrey's colleagues said that on April 27, 2013, the day after Jessica's disappearance, he did not come to work. And when he appeared a few days later, he had noticeable deep scratches on his face and hands. A woman who had stopped by the gas station late in the evening on April 25, the day before Jessica's disappearance, also contacted the police. She told the girl that she should not work there alone until late. Jessica nodded in agreement. It was evident that she was agitated and seemed frightened by something. At that moment, an unknown man was inside the building. Addressing the visitor, he said, "Don't worry, she has customers who will take care of her." After that, he left. The alarmed woman went outside, got into her car, and waited for Jessica to finish her shift and go home. She was concerned about the young employee's safety. And the very next day, the girl disappeared without a trace. In 2016, the witness identified Jeffrey Willis as the same man from the gas station. Investigators found out that Jeffrey had visited the Exxon gas station and met with Jessica at least 15 times. His cousin, 48-year-old Kevin Bloom, who worked as a prison guard, was also detained. During interrogations, he constantly got confused in his testimony but eventually confessed. Kevin revealed previously unknown details of Rebecca Bletch's murder that had not been reported in the news. He also confirmed that he had helped Jeffrey hide Jessica's body. According to Kevin, the day after the abduction, on April 27, his brother called him and said, "I have a woman at my place, we're having a party, and you're invited." Upon arriving at Jeffrey's late grandfather's house, Kevin saw Jessica, dead, tied up, lying on the floor. The brothers wrapped the body in a sheet, put it in the car, took it to the woods where Jeffrey had dug a hole in advance, buried the girl, and returned home. Later, when Kevin went to the burial site with the police, he wandered around the forest for a long time but could not find the exact spot. The trial took place soon after. Although Jessica Hiringa's body had not yet been found, the investigation had enough evidence to accuse Jeffrey Willis of her abduction and murder. Prosecutors argued that he had been watching the girl for a long time, and on the night of April 26, 2013, he parked the minivan near the service entrance to the gas station, broke inside, hit the victim on the head with a pistol, and at that moment, the cover of the laser sight flew off the weapon and fell into a puddle of Jessica's blood. Jeffrey then dragged the unconscious girl out through the back exit, put her on the back seat of the car, took her to his late grandfather's house, and there brought his nightmarish fantasies to life. A forensic examination of the suspect's electronic devices showed that he kept photographs and articles about the search for Jessica on his computer and followed the investigation. Jeffrey also used a password that contained the girl's initials and the date of April 27, 2013. This is likely the date of Jessica's death, which occurred the day after her disappearance. Jeffrey Willis insisted on his innocence and claimed that on the night of the abduction, he was at home. His lawyers argued that the prosecution had no direct evidence against their client. No biological traces of Jessica were found in Jeffrey's house or car. The defense also referred to Dakota's testimony that the girl had become addicted to before her disappearance, and therefore, her abduction could have been related to drug trafficking. However, despite this, the court found Jeffrey Willis guilty of the murder of Jessica Hiringa and sentenced him to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. During the hearings, the defendant showed no signs of sympathy or remorse. His cousin Kevin Bloom was sentenced to 2 years in prison for complicity in concealing the body. He received an additional 5 years of probation. After his release, Kevin was removed from his job at the correctional facility. But the story did not end there. A few years after Jeffrey Willis's conviction, he was suspected of yet another crime. On October 17, 1996, the body of a young girl named Angela Thornburg was found in the woods of the small town of Fruitport, Michigan. The killer was not found at the time, and the case remained unsolved. It is known that Jeffrey graduated from school in Fruitport in 1988. Angela attended the same school and was killed in 1996. 2 years later, when Jeffrey turned 28, he got a job at this school as a janitor. Soon, the principal learned that he spent too much time in the computer class and asked one of the employees to check the browsing history. What exactly was found on that computer is unknown, but on the same day, Jeffrey was forced to write a resignation letter. The investigation into Angela's murder continues, and its details are kept in strict secrecy. 10 years have passed since Jessica Hiringa disappeared, but her body has still not been found. It is known that the girl's 5-year-old son went to court to obtain the right to live under the guardianship of Dakota, not Zevin. The child is being raised by the family of his deceased mother. Jessica's parents have succeeded in getting a law passed that requires the owners of 24-hour gas stations to equip them with surveillance cameras. I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Until next time, friends.